Welcome back, everyone, to A&H Sports. Today we'll be discussing Man U and Man City, the two small teams in England.
My name is Anthony.
And I'm Eddie.
Let's start with the recap. For the United lineup, Lindelof, Martinez, and Maguire were all on the bench for Shaw to play center back. He's been doing pretty well. City put out a slightly weaker back line this game with Ake and Akanji. In the 60th minute, City take the lead from a cross by Kevin De Bruyne and a header by Grealish right after he got subbed on. Then Bruno ties it for United in the 78th minute. Rashford scores at the end to win it for Manchester United. So what are your thoughts on the game?
First of all, it's just the beginning of the year, and this is already City's worst match. I think this is probably their worst match in a good minute. There's been times where they lose, but they've been dominating or playing. For example, against Real Madrid, look at that Champions League game. They were doing good. It's not that Madrid beat them, but, it was like City put up a fight until the end, and they could have also won it. But this one, they had no chances. Haaland still not scoring in important games against big teams. Liverpool once, and maybe Chelsea once. From what I remember, against big teams, he hasn't really been scoring in the Premier League.
I also wanted to bring that up as well. Against Chelsea, he hasn't scored. And
But
now against United, he also didn't score.
But again, City is not allowed to lose in general. They have all these stars. United is playing better now. They're still rebuilding. United seem like they play way better than City, and they had chances. They could have easily gone to the break by a 2-0 lead or at least a 1-0. City only had like one shot by Walker. It wasn't like, oh, it was dangerous. He just got a shot.
Rashford had a couple chances in the
He
first.
did. In games like this or in other games, we see how important the midfield is. If the midfielders don't perform and don't give passes to the forwards, it's hard to win. It almost looked like they were tired. It looked like United had this hunger ready to win and keep running. And City looked like they were just gonna let's just pass the ball around and not risk it. Or even though there was nothing to risk other than you need to win. Unless since we've been talking in this channel since we started, it's Rick and Arsenal paid them.
Who said Casemiro is not good at passing? Who said that? He's been one of the best players and he's been doing everything for United. Defending, passing, assisting.
I've seen some stuff like that from some people. And all I know from the past is, despite him being sort of dirty player, he does his job and his performance is always that's really key to the team. If he doesn't make a pass and stuff, or he doesn't do like a goal or something, maybe you don't notice his work. But he's one of those players that he's just playing his position and doing the dirty work to either stop the forwards or to at least cover his area so that there's no attacks going through there. I also did wanted to point out when the game changed at the 78 minute, all of you cannot tell me that was not offside. I was watching this game live, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's offside. I didn't even know there was need to go to VAR. And I don't know if it was more the officials getting pressure. Is it Bruno Fernandes or
Bruno Fernandes,
yeah,
yeah.
Bruno, right? He was like screaming, even though the sideline man clearly said it's offside. And it was clear.
It was so clear that it was offside.
And even then, they went to VAR and they said it was good. Like, in what angle was that good?
So that goal was definitely clearly offsides, right? To be fair. And
Yes.
I'm a United fan, and I'm saying that. Even if Rashford didn't touch the ball, he
He
was
went there.
involved, and that affects the whole sequence. So that's offsides.
It would have been different if Rashford would have faked that he went, but he didn't move and he started walking back instead.
Exactly.
But he clearly ran towards the ball, which got the defender not to get to it. And then the defender was going for Rashford, which allowed Bruno Fernandes to shoot.
Exactly. If he stood still or walked back or something,
But in this case, because he went for the ball, he did interfere and he was part of the play. Who sees this in a VAR or even in the just live and acts like Rashford doesn't exist?
in the past, that's how it's been working. And why all of a sudden this is a goal? The defenders knew Rashford was offsides, and so they basically stopped trying in a way.
You saw the coach at the end when he went to Guardiola, and you see the handshake, he almost looked kind of like He didn't look like he felt that he really wanted it because of that. Despite being a big win against the biggest rival, this is just ridiculous.
That goal changed the game.
It did.
It basically gave United momentum to win it.
If I'm the other team, I wouldn't fully be like mentally in because I would be mad that they counted a goal that was not a goal in the first place. When you're playing games and things like that happens, it kind of throws you off a little bit, and you're more, and instead of focusing on the game, you're more thinking like what the? Still mad at the moment, especially when you know that that could be what costs you the title because Arsenal is so far if they win again.
It kind of puts you down, and the momentum is against you too.
United had chances and they could probably tie it regardless. That was the key moment of the game.
And if it didn't count, it could have also changed it in a way because United had time against them, and that kind of messes you up sometimes.
And them going forward more, would it cause City to counterattack? It's a pretty good chance that Haaland would score in counters with De Bruyne or someone else's pass. And then Walker's speed, they could have definitely end you. City wasn't playing good, but again, in football, you don't need to play good to win. City did their job. They were 1-0 up, and until the 78th minute, they were still 1-0 up. Could it cause United to attack more, leave more open spaces, and with City's players, they could easily counter and create like magic to score a goal.
Those players can make a difference at any second. Sometimes Bruno's passes are pretty good, but sometimes they are just terrible. There was one counter attack where he just gave the ball away. He passed it to the City defender.
They didn't lose, but those moments could kill you in big games, especially in Champions League.
Going back to the first goal, I don't know if you saw, but Kevin De Bruyne and Casemiro were holding hands at one point. It was pretty funny.
Oh, I think Casemiro asked him out.
For the second United goal, Garnacho did a good job getting back on sides before Bruno Fernandes passed it to him because he was offsides at first. The bad thing is that Garnacho should have played Rashford the first time when Rashford was in front of goal, but he got lucky and got the ball back, turned around and passed it to Rashford.
Props to United. They did what they had to do. It's not their fault that VAR and the ref counted that. Let's see if Arsenal chokes. There's still half a season. Let's see if they choke. They always choke. And with that being said, deuces.